Thank you for being here. We are starting the new session on agriculture and land management. We're very excited for you to be here. Um, Next slide, please. We want to thank our great partners, DKU, German Kazakhstan University, Global Landscape Forum, Plug and Play, and World Bank for organizing the event. We're very excited for all participants to be here and for an amazing jury. But before we go into details, I would like to emphasize that this is going to be a Russian and English session. So some of the participants will speak in Russian, others in English. And in any case, at the bottom of your screen, you see an icon that's a globe, and you can choose English or Russian or off if you're lucky enough that you speak both languages. We do ask you to have your mics on mute so we don't disturb the presentations. Thank you. Next slide. We're going to have great sessions with great speakers from different countries. We're going to have companies from the Netherlands, India, Kazakhstan, Republic of Iran, and Kyrgyzstan. They're going to be presented in that order. They have about 5 minutes to present their idea and 5 minutes for questions and answers. I also would like now to introduce the jury. We have amazing jury, and I would like to thank you all very much for being here. I'm going to read a little bit about their backgrounds, and then we'll jump straight to the presentations. Mr. Vadim Sokolov is the head of Agency for Projects Implementations in the International Fund for Saving the Aral Sea. He's the head of Agency for Projects Implementations of the International Fund for the Aral Sea Savings, located in Uzbekistan. And he's also an active member of the IWRA, board member of the Asia Water Council. Thank you, sir. Ravshan Yunusov, he's the national coordinator of SDG integration initiatives in the Aral Sea region for the UNDP program, and has over 19 years of experience in economics and finance. He also worked in the past as a task manager on the finance component of the UNDP DEF project, Market Transformation for Sustainable Rural Housing in Uzbekistan. Thank you, sir. Parahat Torashov, he's the head of the Crop Diversification Laboratory, the International Innovation Center for the Aral Sea Basin, under the President of the Republic of Uzbekistan. Thank you. Sufar Tokpaev, Ministry of the Energy of the Republic of Kazakhstan and Department of Renewable Energy. He holds a position of the Deputy Director of the Greenhouse Gas Inventory Department at GSF, has experience in hydrometeorology, climate change, pasture management. He has participated in the preparation of national communications, national reports on the inventory of pollutants, and in the conference of parties to the UNFCCC. And last but not least, Mr. Mark Garrasaid. He's an investment manager and founder of Panda Fund. It's first and one of Europe's largest agriculture and water funds. He's an associate lecturer of finance in the Barcelona School of Management by the Pompeu Fabra University. He's a member of the executive committee for the Institut Agrícola in Barcelona. The Institut Agrícola is a non-for-profit business association and founded in 1851, is one of the oldest in Europe in its kind, and it's focused on agriculture, livestock, and forestry activities. Thank you all for being here. Next slide, please. Now we're going to go straight into the presentations, and I ask the jury to be ready. Remember, you will have 5 minutes and for presenting, more or less, and 5 minutes. And after 10 minutes, you will be cut off. So thank you for being here. And the first proposal, we're going to start transforming salty lands into rich agricultural landscape by Nexus, patented GeoWall land cultivating technology. It will be presented by, yes, sir.
Can I control my own presentation or not?
Yeah, yes, you have.
Great. I'm gonna try to share it. Is it okay like this?
I like that. Perfect. Go ahead. You're gonna have
Perfect.
10 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Jip Koster. I'm a sediment engineer at Netix. Netix is an innovative engineering and consultancy company that is specialized in the cultivation and stabilization of sediments, and which is aligning perfectly with the building with nature approach. And with our patented geowall land cultivation technology, we can transform the salty lands of the Aral Sea into rich agricultural landscapes. Netix is already for about 16 years active in about 16 countries, and with Netix with Witteveen and Bos on board, which is our partner, we also have our boots on the ground in Kazakhstan. And currently, the Aral Sea basin is severely degraded, leading to poverty, global impact of dust storms, and many other problems. And there are many solutions proposed for these problems, but we are unique in finding finding a solution by making use of sediments on the lake basin. And what we're going to do is we want to combine these sediments on the lake bed with the sandy soils from the Aral Sea basin with seeds and binders that are already locally available, and combine that together with some local machinery into the geowall cultivation technology, which is a wall-like shape that can be placed all around the Aral Sea basin and will turn the landscape green again and allow for agricultural development. The geowall seed blocks are a holistic solution to many problems that we are facing currently in the Aral Sea basin. First of all, it will increase water retention due to the more soil organic matter on the ground and can increase water levels of the lake basin. Next to that, we will recover and stabilize the lost nutrients and fertilizers that were washed away into the Aral Sea lake and create fertile soils again. Therefore, we are able to generate agricultural profit without the need for irrigation, which is also generating profit at the end. Fourthly, because of the wall-like structure and the stabilization of the soil, we can prevent from global dust storm occurring once in a while. Fifthly, we are planning to partner up with local farmers, local contractors, and local suppliers to make this idea an idea for all stakeholders. And sixthly, we can inspire the community with new applications for sediments, such as walls, houses, and other shapes. And next to all these great advantages, we also have a great business case to present to you. We will make use of cameline and safflower crops that can be turned into oil, seeds, and tea products that are currently highly trending on the market in Kazakhstan and surrounding regions. And, which is maybe most important, are very profitable. We calculated with a business case that within 6 to 7 years, we can have a return on investment without a need for initial funding. And we can generate a yearly profit of 500,000 tengers per year per hectare, and also capturing CO2, which is good for the climate. But when we consider funding in the process, we have a return of investment of 1 to 2 years, which I think is great, and also generate the same profit and CO2 capture. So our solution has a very good business case. With the money that we gain from this challenge, we want to develop further this opportunity, and we want to do this with all our partners, including Witteveen and Bos, Netix shareholders, but more importantly, all the local stakeholders, such as universities, the World Bank, local contractors, local suppliers, and farmers. Therefore, we are very dedicated to create a solution for the Aral Sea basin, because we believe that restoring the Aral Sea is all about restoring the faith in the locally available resources that can bring back the Aral Sea as it once was. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jeep. Thank you. We already have some questions. I'm going to ask the question from Mr. Sokolov. And if anybody else has a question, please raise your hand or write it down. Here's the question. How much is cost of soil blocks? Is it feasible cost for wide application in the Aral Sea?
Okay, yeah, good question. Maybe I already presented the business case slide. And at the end, we need a certain initial investment per hectares but it will also, with the profit we gain from the agriculture, we can also get back that money. But it's cheap enough to widespread this on a full Aral.
We have another question from Mika Said. What are the potential negative harmfuls to the environment?
I think if we do our job right and stabilize the sediment and the soil, it will have a positive effect on the environment, because we clean up the lake where there are a lot of fertilizers and chemicals in there, and we also stabilize the salty soil. So if we do our job right and the sediments do not wash away into the lake again, then it has no negative impact. But that should be part of the process of developing this idea into a pilot study.
Thank you. We have a little bit of time for another question if another judge would like to place the question. Otherwise, we'll just move to the next presenter.
So we base this idea on these two crops, which are cameline and safflower, because they are very resistant to salt, and they are also very good to develop the soil better. But we can always think about other crops as well. If they generate a better business case, then that's always a possibility, because the soil is highly fertile and has many potential then. Yes. So, yes, because I think I started with that was one of my titles started with. So we did with Nexus, we did a lot of soil stabilization in general, and also with salty sediments. So we know exactly how to do that. But of course, every region is unique, so we always need to check for the best recipe. But that's our main business, so we know everything about that. And when you think about restoring the areas with sediments, we've done that before as well. We did a lot of land reclamation and vegetation tests, so we know when the vegetation will grow and how. So the knowledge is there, and also we have very good contacts in Wageningen University, which is the main one of the best universities of the world in agricultural development, and they will also help us researching this.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your great to the point presentation, and good luck. We're going to move to the next presentation, which is going to be on nutritive hydrogel for water preservation and land soil aeration.
Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you loud and clear.
Excellent. My name is Jordan. Jan, my colleague, is also with us. We are a Raincatcher company, and we decided to present through a video. So please play.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have a question for you. Do you really believe? Do you believe that we can counter and even reverse the global warming? Do you believe that we can grow plants in the desert? Do you believe that we can stop the droughts caused of more and more forest fires every year? Do you really believe that we can save the Aral Sea? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm asking you today, do you really believe? Because we do. Raincatcher is a secret combination of potassium hydrogel and nutrient inputs. Shaped as crystals, it looks like sugar and can capture and store water under the form of gel nodules. Its exceptional power of absorption enables 10 grams to absorb 2.3 liters of water. With its swelling effect, it looks like thousands of micro sponges storing the water under a solid form and releasing it upon the plant's need. Let me show you how it works. On the left, we mix 10 grams of Raincatcher in 700 grams of sand. On the right, only pure sand. We will simulate a rain shower by adding half a liter of water. On the right, you can see the draining effect of the sand. It first settles down and then lets the water through. On the left, the Raincatcher crystals capture the water and store it in the sand. So you understand that Raincatcher is able to increase the water storage capacity of the soil, which is a revolution because it will behave like a real water and food reserve for the plants. A second property of Raincatcher is its ability to aerate the soil under the effect of swelling. An aerated soil is a living soil that empowers the development of microorganisms and the essential ecosystem. Under the effect of rain or irrigation water, the crystals will swell and the roots will be naturally attracted to this area, retaining the moisture. As a result, enhancing the root mass development and preventing any water stress. And naturally, the more developed are the roots, the larger and more numerous are the fruits. This is how Raincatcher also significantly increases crop yields. Due to a population explosion, man has overexploited its soils, destroying all life with intensive plowing, use of pesticides to produce always more and more. 50 years of intensive exploitation later, it has arid areas where nothing grows anymore and continues to deforest massively. It leads us to more and more scorched, waterless areas. We are losing a terrible number of vegetated territories. More they extend, less we capture CO2. Massive desertification means horrible food security issues. Pandemic has dramatically stressed the phenomenon. As with acacia tree in the UAE, Raincatcher aims at restoring soils in regreening large zones of desert to restore the CO2 sequestration. And yet, watch this video from NASA and see the level of CO2 in the atmosphere here in red color during February, March and April, which is the plowing period that releases great amount of carbon. And then comes May and June with a flowering period, and the miracle can operate. Plants, crops and trees are developing their stems, leaves and flowers to capture the CO2 of the atmosphere. They are the connectors, they are the result of 4 billion years of R&D. They are what we need, planting endless surface of greens everywhere possible. It has been a core mission for us to carry out series of tests with different accredited laboratories to confirm and certify the absolute non-toxicity as for microorganisms in the soil, as for animals and human beings, the transmission to the plant of no other substance than the water they need, and its biodegradability to propose a completely eco-friendly solution. To sum up, Raincatcher is three interdependent key components: a technology, which is an eco-friendly water-retaining fertilizer that grows plants in dry areas; an expertise, because the technology gives game-changing results only if we put the right dose at the right depths with the right irrigation; and finally, a unique-of-the-kind engineering solution, a release at the World Exposition with a way to treat any kind of tree in less than 3 minutes. This makes Raincatcher unique in the world. We don't believe, we know that we can replant saxaul trees and reforest the Aral Sea region.
Thank you for your attention. I would like me to share a few more details, except if you have immediate questions, but why we want especially to be involved in saving the Aral Sea. We are a local solution, and we are already positioned in the Great Green Wall in Africa and in other reforestation programs in the Middle East. But we want to participate at home. And by home, I mean Central Asia. That's why this competition was very important for us. It's the opportunity to participate and to respond to a major challenge generated by the end of man in Central Asia with a native solution from Central Asia. So we expect this program to connect us with the right stakeholders. And about the business model a little bit more, it's important to understand the super absorbance of rain catcher. And for example, with a 25 kilograms bag, we can cover 1 hectare in average. For a tomato tree, we'll put 3 grams, for example. In Dubai, we put 50 grams per tree on the sandy soil for an acacia tree in general. Acacia is used also to reforest in the desert. So, of course, we always start with a preliminary agronomic analysis to understand the land, but I can already say that a dose of 30 to 40 grams on a saxaul tree will be enough for the Aral Sea regions, which represent 50 cents of a dollar per tree. So the expertise we have is very important, and we can avoid the failure rate at the plantation close to 0. And now the saxaul tree they have planted already in the Aral Sea are close to 60% of failing. It's not just about planting, it's about being sure that during the 3 first years, the tree will go. So this is very important for us to make you understand. Sorry, any questions?
And there was a question from Sufar Tokpayev that you a little bit answered. I'm going to read it in case there's no other question. What is the economic efficiency of the proposed technology? Is it possible to apply this technology to large areas?
Yes. Yes, it is. One of the pillars of rain catcher is the development also of engineering. And as mentioned in the video, we'll release at the World Exposition in Dubai in October a solution to implement rain catcher at a large scale. By large scale, I mean great field, great surface as a forest or palm trees field, cocoa fields, citrus fields. So yes, definitely.
Another question from Mr. Margaris Said. Is your solution better for crops or trees?
Actually, we are intervening in both sectors. We have application and expertise to treat agriculture as to treat forestries. And actually, sometimes it's a little bit the same because if you work on cocoa trees or palm trees or citrus trees, it's still trees. So the system is the same. So we are definitely working on both sectors.
Great. We still have 1 minute and 30 seconds if anybody else would like to make a question. Did you hear the question?
Yeah, Jordan. So I will answer because Jordan didn't hear. We produce that technology in Kyrgyz Republic, and we can produce 800 kilograms per hour. It means 1 container in 24 hours.
There's another question. We have 50 seconds. You have mentioned that 10 grams of crystals can absorb 2.3 liters of water. What is the average life of these crystals? Meaning the absorption capacity decreases over time? And what happens with the remaining crystals? Will they decompose? What is the period of time?
It's fully cyclable. I mean, it works during 3 to 5 years. It depends the soils, it depends the crops and so on. And it's fully biodegradable. We did all the surveys for that. And we are still leading some survey in Dubai, in the International Center for Biosolid Agriculture. And it has been observed that it's fully biodegradable. Yes, it's fully eco-friendly.
Right. Thank you so much for your good questions and good answers. Great
Thank you for your. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We're going to get ready to move to a new presentation. Thank you, gentlemen. Um, on sustainable farming, improving farmer livelihoods and promoting sustainable agriculture, providing advisory using a digital platform. And it's already displayed. And please go ahead with the presentation, Mr. Silas or Mr. Prasad.
Thank you. My name is Arjun. Can I present my own screen?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
All right. I hope you can see my screen.
Yep.
All right. Thank you. So we look at this problem that was highlighted to us in the form of sustainable farming. We'd like to focus on farming and improving the farmer livelihood there. A little background about our organization, Cropin. So Cropin is headquartered out of Bangalore, India, and it's a fully integrated digital platform helping agri-businesses to take data-driven decision-making. The way our platform functions is where we provide custom mobile applications to the ground teams, the field officers, agronomists, supply chain people, farmers, anyone. And all the data from the applications come to our platform, overlay all of that information with our satellite-based AI, weather data, and you have actionable insights on a web dashboard. In regards to the problem statement, we understand that due to unavailability of right information, agronomy advices, and insights, there is a rampant use of water-intensive crops. And also the businesses aren't helping much. And that's what we are trying to solve here, one step at a time. Our approach here is broadly two ways. One is we use satellite data, weather data to provide right information about the geography. And then we can deep dive at a plot level, providing right agronomy advices, pest and disease problem, monitor and evaluate the progress at the right time. We differentiate ourselves with other platforms because we do not take a piecemeal approach to solving problems. We want to solve problems for the entire ecosystem, solving problems for the farming companies, lending, supply chain, for the inputs, and certainly for the farmers. When we work with any farming organization or the entity, we start with digitization of a farmer, their plot of land. So on the maps, you'll find out exactly where the plots are, what shape is it, what is the kind of yield that is expected. Depending on the geolocation of those plots, you get to see 7, 8 days of weather forecast and a lot of weather related analytics around it. Any crop or any variety, the right package of practices can be implemented. Any pest and disease problem on the ground, you just take a picture, select what the problem is, and you get immediate pre-configured advisories. Any inputs, how much quantity has to go at what time frame, all of those aspects are part of this platform. Now this box here, these are primarily all ground level data that are captured by the field officers or the agronomists, but we can overlay all of that information with a satellite based AI, where we are primarily able to identify the crops, the growth stages, health, yield estimation, water stress at any geography. And we can do that at a country level, state level, village level, or an individual plot level. And the entire idea is you as an organization will have complete visibility from satellite data, from ground data perspective, helps you to improve your productivity, but all of those details will go to the farmers in the form of advisory as well. At the farm gate level, you are able to collect all of that produce. You'll be able to tag which farmer, how much quantity has provided what outputs. You can track which warehouse is it going to, what are the processes that are being followed within a particular pack house, and do a complete traceability program as well. Now, when we deploy the entire platform, and these are all satellite-based analytics, where in a particular geography, we would be able to identify the crops that are growing, water stress, yield that is going. Now, based on those informations, we are able to take a lot of insights, a lot of information based on how we'd like to approach for the current season or for the next 2 years. We are also able to determine of a particular geography, we are able to determine the land use, land classification, as in which are agricultural land, which are barren lands, which are forest areas, urban, etc. And this actually helps in taking a lot of right information. Now, when we are talking about the second approach at an individual plot level, Our platform, which is mostly used by the mobile applications as well as the computer dashboards, we are able to register all the farmers that are within the particular ecosystem. On the map, you'll be able to find out where these plots are, what kind of crops they're growing, and the agronomy practices that are being followed there. Now, the entire crops, entire agronomy practices would all be configured within this application. Various weather-related alerts and prescriptions can be triggered from the system, and it can go to all the farmers. It gives you very, very insightful action. For example, if we trigger plans such as in the next 7-8 days, there's going to be heavy rainfall. Now, the trigger that will go out, or the advisory that will go out, will be very, very specific. For example, you can cover the plot of land, or you do not spray any kind of fertilizer. All such kind of insights can go in. Now, when we are doing a lot of analysis at an individual plot level, we can do for the current season as well as for the historical season. As a result, we are able to generate a farmer scoring mechanism, and this actually helps the financial institutes to also understand agri-worthiness of a particular farmer as well. And that is how you approve or deny of a particular loan amount. It's just making life easier for the farmers to get access to finance there. At an individual plot level or geography level, there is also a disease prediction model. So at least a week, 10 days in advance, an automatic trigger can go out to all the farmers talking about a disease likely attacking that specific area. We're trying to create an ecosystem around a farmer organization, so they get access to all the necessary requirements that they have, be it agronomy, be it financial system, be it access to tractors, equipment, could be any of the aspects. One such example I would like to mention is a project that we are doing in Tajikistan is for a cotton cooperative. They are using this platform to provide agronomy services to the farmers, not only for the cottons, but also for the other crops such as beans, maize, wheat, etc. And this is entirely a fair trade project as well. So when we do the tracing of that specific product or the cotton, it tells you whether this is a fair trade product or where this cotton is coming from. Another example where we are working with government of Afghanistan for entire livelihood aspects. They are using our platform, be it the satellite bit or the mobile applications, to help the pomegranate farmers there. The major use case there has been market linkages, water conservation as part of that specific program.
You have 3 minutes to the end of your presentation.
All right, sorry. Over the past 11 years, we have been able to impact 13 million farmers, 4 million farmers across the world, and our platform is already being used in 52 countries. Our business model is entirely B2B, where we work with businesses and farmer organizations on a per acre or per user model. All right, thank you. I'll open to questions right now.
Thank you so much. And you have already a question. I'm going to ask Mr. Garriga Said to place the question. Mark, if you can unmute yourself and ask the question, that would be great.
Okay, it's okay. Okay, hi Arjun. How you could obtain the agriculture database in the RLC basin? So you need customers in order to obtain all this data?
It works both ways. So when I talk about satellite-based information, we already have satellite images across the world. It is our algorithm which actually identifies what the satellite image is for, whether there is any crop or what kind of crop is it, what are the health conditions of those crops and the yield estimation. It is only when you try to drill down of that, that is when you will require customers or farmer details, etc.
All right. Is there any other question from the jury? Christina.
Would you mind repeating that, please? Yes. So wherever we work across the world, we work with governments, we work with private agribusinesses, we work with input players, we work with any businesses who has anything to do with agriculture. So it has to be business entity and not individual farmers.
All right. Well, Arjun, thank you. Great job. Thank you so much. Thank you, Yuri. We're going to move to the next presentation. Good luck, Arjun. Next presentation is going to be restoration of degraded and saline lands of the bottom of the dried Aral Sea by treating them with biomeloriant for neutralizing salts and fertilizing. Daulet, whenever you're ready, please go ahead.
Daulet, I've done your presentation, so you can start. So once again, I'm a doctorate student on recultivation land reclamation. And this project is not just a project, it is my dream. I live my dream I am, by origin, I'm from that area. Historically, the Aral Sea region historically had never been as we see them today. When there was a war with the Turkmen Shaks and Khwarezm and Tashkent Shak, when the Turkmens won, at that time the Amudarya River reached the Aral Sea. And currently we have ancient cities, or the remains of the ancient cities, which are located on the dried up bottom of the Aral Sea. When the Aral Sea dried up, they emerged on the surface of the dried up bottom. I participated in multiple expeditions to the dried up bottom of the Aral Sea, for example, to the Barsaki Mass Nature Reserve, and has collected oil sediment there. We even found plant remains in these soil samples, which means that previously the dried up bottom of the Aral Sea had green cover. We have the dried up bottom of the Aral Sea is contaminated with a lot of sodium and phosphorus. There is also a lot of amino acids and mineralized calcium. The calcium will react with sodium phosphate and we will reduce the radioactivity. And this will allow us to supply water to the delta. Then we plan to treat the soil with biomelorant. We have found water wells there that were built during the Soviet time, but they're not functioning at the moment. The Aral Sea region is also facing a huge challenge due to the dust and salt storms. Our project will not need a lot of money. First, we will restore the land. We will use the biomeliorant. Then we'll ensure water supply. Then we plan to phytomeliorants. On this slide, you see the Carderi mausoleum, which was found on the dried bottom of the Aral Sea. So here you see the plant remains in these samples, which once again proves the fact that in the ancient times, the currently dried bottom of the Aral Sea was used for agricultural development. One of the branches of the Great Silk Road passed through that area. I'm ready for your questions. I can provide you the data for the soil analysis that we've conducted. Who produces and where? Who this biomeliorant, and what is the cost of producing it?
And hold on, if you
I
wait,
am the author of this.
Let's wait for the question also of Mr. Mark Terrasaid. Mark, can you do your question too? So you have two questions to answer. Mark, go ahead.
Yes, David, I think you first use your product in
the cost of producing the biomeliorant for 1 hectare. Please wait for all the questions. Daulet. So once again, it's about 5,500 tenge per 1 hectare. About $15 per 1 hectare, about 10 euros or so.
Thank you. Mark, what is your question?
Yes, Dalet, I think you use the first experience of your product is in the Talas region. So after that, there is what's the experience after that? There is a second or third project, and where?
So I plan to produce it in the Jambul region and then replicate it. %70% of all phosphorus ore that is produced in Kazakhstan comes from Jambul region. We have tested the technology. Currently, the main challenge is we need investment to install the equipment, to expand the capacity. I'm showing you the plant. It was dead before. The soil that you see in the pot comes from the Aral Sea area. And after using this technology, the tree revived. Please.
Go ahead with your question.
Сколько на гектар этого препарата вносится, в какой он форме и в какой...
How much of this biomeliorant do you need per 1 hectare? So this is it in the dry form. It's like a powder. And then we have it in liquid form also. In liquid form, it can be sprayed over soil. The most important thing for the biomalarian to get inside the soil, the salinization in the RLC area is mostly sodium and phosphorus. So the potassium is there, but the plants cannot absorb it because it's not in mineral form. The salt marshes always have water because salts dissolve in water. And if we neutralize them, what about the human impacts or the impacts on the human health?
We got to the end of your presentation. Sorry, we got to the end of your presentation. Good job. Excellent presentation. Thank you very much. We're going to move now to the next presentation. Thank you. We're going to present now Muna Purzadi from the Greywater Nexus greenhouse, moving beyond 100% efficiency in carbon cycle. Presentation by Muna Purzadi from the Republic of Iran. Thank you so much. We're ready when you are, Muna. You're in mute, Muna.
Is it okay now?
Loud and clear. Perfect. Thank you.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Have you ever thought about how is it possible to produce food from hydrocarbon resources? This is my project about hydrocarbon to carbohydrate or food in an efficient way to avoid GHG emission and to save it for food production. I'm Mona Purzadi from Iran. I received my PhD in environmental policy from Free University of Berlin in Germany at Berlin Center for Caspian Region Energy and Environmental Studies, and I was acting as a member of Lake Urumia's Restoration Committee in Iran. The next slide. Lake Urumia is very similar lake to Aral Sea, a salt lake in northwestern of Iran, where a combination of climate change impact, climate variabilities, and other anthropogenic factors had pushed the basin into the collapse of the most of its ecological boundaries. The public and the politicians, however, were most concerned with the heavyweight impact on the ground, a dry, beloved lake. What was missing there was the delicate interlinkage among all of these issues. In a resource-limited world, the Nexus should be the leading paradigm in a framework of a landscape approach, which is about balancing competing land use demands in a way that is best for human well-being and environment. It means creating solutions that consider food and livelihood, finance, right, restoration, and progress toward climate and development and sustainable development goals. Ultimate objective of the project is changing the main governing paradigm, which has governed human civilization in the late 19th and 20th centuries. Fossil energy resources have drastically changed the way we deal with the nature. It has not only affected us through global warming interaction with limited resources, but it has also negatively impacted all other limited resources we have in our planet, like water, food, soil, and etc. In this project, an ultimate nexus approach is used. It is conscious of the nexus between basic resources and nexus between these resources and socioeconomic issues. This is a project about high-tech greenhouses that touches upon a variety of basic and secondary resources, including water, soil, and energy. It also addresses recycling of wastewater and produced sludge. In the wastewater treatment plant used in agriculture, crops production, it addresses the carbon cycle and climate change by adding consecutive cycle to pass beyond 100% use of carbon in overall process. At this stage, the concept of treatment of wastewater using the methane to produce heat and power, CCHP combined cooling, heat and power, and using the heat and power as well as the treated wastewater for limited application is completed, and it requires upgrading to reach its next phases objectives. And this will involve two steps: a study phase to develop detailed design upon the existing basic design, followed by a demonstration project, in both of which we are seeking for international support and partnership with a business plan of a joint operation in a wider geographical zone. And wastewater is basically the used water of already allocated water for the local population. In this project, the wastewater is treated to the standard for being used in greenhouse farming, as well as using the several using the water for farming, the saved water for improving local soil management under the guidelines of FAO Soil Charter and Global Soil Partnership for Sustainable Soil Management. The recovered water resources are a very rare commodity, especially in Central Asia, will be hence used in improvement of degraded local soil for local population or rehabilitation of local habitat or reforestation, afforestation plan for whichever that may apply. The most important element about achievement until this stage is the paradigm shift in relevant decision-making institutions by addressing the cognitive and normative phases of institutionalization of these changes and approaches before reaching the regulative and organizational phase. We consider the paradigm shift 50% of the task and believe that on the local and regional levels, as well as international levels, have very well convinced our potential valued partners. We assess that we have achieved about 50% of the past already, and this guarantees the future business perspective as well. Thank you so much for your attention. I'm ready for your question.
Thank you so much, Ms. Pursadi. So I'm inviting any judge to place a question.
Yes, Mona, I have a question about in your project, you need a connection to the electrical grid and also to the wastewater grid. You need this connection in your project?
Yes.
We still have a little bit of time if anybody has a question or if you would like to expand any topic. Christina Tudorich, please go ahead.
The cost?
in our in our project, we don't do anything about desalinization. We use wastewater, and as you may know, the source of carbon is in wastewater is organic carbon, and we put this organic carbon in an atmosphere with anoxic environment, on an anoxic environment, and there this carbon will be transferred to methane, to CH4. And this CH4, then as you may know, the potential of global warming of methane is about 23% to 89% more than other greenhouse gases. And then we use CCHP, combined heat and power, cooling combined heat and power. We use this instrument to change the methane, to burn the methane and produce heat and power. We use that produced heat inside the greenhouse, and then we sell the produced energy to the network. And during the transformation of this methane, we produce also CO2. And then we conduct this CO2 inside the greenhouse. And during the photosynthesis process for the plant inside the greenhouse, then use this produce CO2 and grow the plants. So if we can reach the next step, which is using and optimizing the usage of this CO2 inside the greenhouse by plant respiration and plant photosynthesis, then we achieve more than 100% efficiency in our project.
Outscaling stage?
As I said in my slide, we have finished until the scaling using the CCHP until now, which is burning the methane. And then only the last step, which is optimization of using the CO2 inside the greenhouses. This is the last step we are planning for it. And there are also similar projects also in Netherlands, like these greenhouses, but with a bit different technologies. But this technology is applicable in many places of the world.
It's a mitigation.
Yes, it's a nexus between different resources, water, and in a landscape approach. Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank
Christina.
you too.
Thank you, Monia.
Thank
Great presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you too.
We're going to move to the last but not least presentation directly from India. And Shahad is going to be ready very soon. The presentation is by Bravehawk Artificial Intelligence Past Management Technology. Very interesting topic. Shanaz, whenever you're ready, you can start.
Yeah. Thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity. And hello, everyone. This is Shanaz, and I am founder and CEO at Agenix International Private Limited. I hope everyone can hear my voice.
Yes, we hear your voice. Make sure if there's somebody else in your team to mute their computer. Thank you. Go ahead.
Co-person is sharing my screen. Yeah. So hello everyone. I'm Shainaz, founder and CEO at Agenix International Private Limited. We are based in India. We invent technology for crop protection and sustainable farming. We protect crops and plants from insects, pests, and diseases without using pesticides. Next slide. Problem what we are solving is pesticides used in intensive farming in the Aral Sea region, lands in watershed landscape of the Aralkum Desert, which has developed on the Aral seabed and covers an area of 5.5 million hectares. Every year, winds carry some 150 million tons of salt and sand, which lands over hundreds of thousands of kilometers in Scandinavia and Antarctica. We have addressed the issues related with crop protection successfully by developing multiple technologies that includes AI-based insect communication technologies, bioelectronics technologies, etc. Our unique non-toxic crop protection solution protects crops from insects, pests, and diseases and zero down the farmer's reliance on toxic pesticides. It manages 2,000 plus insect sprays. It costs less than 10% of pesticide cost for crop protection. We have applied for one patent in Jan 2020. Patent is pending and we are process of applying for two more patents. We have developed multiple kinds of technologies for crop protection. First one is BraveHawk, a crop protection technology based on reactive type of AI. Second one is SmartHawk, a crop protection technology based on limited memory type AI. And third one is eBionic, a crop protection technology based on bioelectronics and olfactory signals. The unique, the unique selling proposition of our technology The unique selling proposition of our technology is it makes use of visual patterns like frequencies, acoustic signals, olfactory signals, vibratory signals to attract and aggregate and exterminate 2,000 plus insects harmful to the crops and plants. It generating alarm signals to threaten and disperse beneficial insects to safeguard them. The solution is tested and evaluated by ICRKVK, ICRISAT, Karnataka State Agriculture and Horticulture Department. Pain points addressed by Aegenics is our technologies brings multiple positive impact on environment. It helps us to make our food we eat, our air we breathe in, our water we drink, and our soil we use to grow food free from toxic chemical contamination. It protects marine life and honeybees from ill effects of toxic agrochemicals. The crop protection cost reduced by 90%. It zero down the farmer's dependency on toxic agrochemicals for crop protection. 99.99% safe for beneficial insects. It is environmental friendly and drastically cut down the pollution. Farmers get benefited by increase in yield by 40%. Their earnings increase by 300%. I would like to share one of our customer story who is using our products from last 5 years. Mr. Sachin Deshmukh, he is growing pomegranate, orange, turmeric, and vegetables. Earlier, he was spending approximately 160 US dollar per acre per month on crop protection. Now, with BraveHawk series product, his expenses dropped down to 7 US dollar per acre per month, and his produce is 100% toxic residue free. There is a huge global market potential for crop protection that is 3.9 trillion US dollars. And for RLC region, there is again huge market potential for crop protection that is 26 billion US dollars. We have highly qualified and experienced founders with active mentors and advisors. Myself, Shahnaz, I have done my education in MSc Microbiology. Along with me, Mr. Khalil, he is co-founder and CTO at Aegenics International. He has done his education in BE Computer Engineering and Industrial Electronics. Thank you so much for your kind attention and your valuable time. We are open for questions and answers.
Thank you so much for your great presentation. Excellent job. And I would like to invite the jury to present any questions.
Have you investigated the impact of this technology on the environment, on living beings and humans?
Yeah, actually, I couldn't be able to.
The question is, can you hear me, Shanaz?
Yes, yes.
The question was, have you investigated the effects of this technology in living animals and humans?
Yeah, we have evaluated and tested this technology in government and private organizations. In government organizations, we have evaluate in ICR KVK, then ICRISAT, and other like agriculture and horticulture departments, government, agriculture and horticulture departments, Karnataka.
We have another question. Please go ahead.
Yes.
This technology, it seems to be targeting the flying insects only. Is that the case?
Yeah, this technology for flying insects, those who are harmful to the crop.
One, as we know that in agriculture, most of the insects, those who become the adult, I can say that 90% of insects are flying insects. In this one of the life stage, mostly in the adult stage, 90% of them become the flying insects. There are very few insects like some of the true bugs like mealybugs and all that, they are not flying, but more than 90% insects are the flying insects.
May I ask a question?
Go ahead, Christina, please.
Example, if you will be selected for this competition, how you are going to, what will be first step, second step for transferring of such kind of model to Aral Sea Basin?
I'm not.
Okay, for example, your model or your technology will be selected for this competition. So what it will be your action? How you are going to transfer technology from your area to Aral Sea Basin?
Well,
before we answer this question, is there any other question?
Есть вопросы, есть. Вот, вопрос, если говорить о приорале, у нас больше...
Talking about the Aral Sea area, actually the non-flying insects are the most damaging in the Aral Sea area. Because flying insects are already grown, mature insects, but the larvae are actually causing the largest damage in the Aral Sea area. So my question is, does your technology just scare away the flying insects, or it kills them? Because if your technology just scares the insects away, then they will lay their eggs in some other place.
Our technology lures and kills, exterminates around 2,000 plus harmful insects only. It get attract and get electrocuted in device.
Which attracts only the herbivorous and omnivorous insects, and it safeguards the beneficial insects that includes the honeybees, nectar and pollen feeding bees. I mean to say that nectar and pollen feeding bees, predators, predatory insects, and parasitoids. It releases a certain kind of alarm signals to them, and then it keep them away from the device, at least 5 feet away from the device, but their population gets established in the farm, and that becomes the part of biological pest control, that plays role in biological pest control, whereas this device only attracts 2,000 plus herbivorous and omnivorous insects, those who are damaging the different parts of the plant, or feeding on the different parts of the plant.
Thank you so much for your questions and comments. Great job, Shanahaz. Very good, very well done. Thank you all so very much for participating. Jury is gonna review their results, and we will get back to you on Friday. And I'm gonna please let my colleague, senior environmental specialist in the World Bank and chief of the project, to give the final words regarding next Friday's event. Manon, please, back to
Thank
you.
you so much.
Challenge will go on. And I have to say, I have been pretty impressed with your presentations today. So thank you for that. And we are all waiting for you on Friday. Friday, as Martin announced, will be the day when we will announce the winners. And we will have a very interesting as well opening roundtable with our senior representatives at the World Bank, but also our partners from the challenge, including the Dutch Kazakh University, the GLF, and the Plug and Play Accelerator. So please join us. And we are really looking forward to the next other sessions tomorrow and after tomorrow. And Baljan, maybe you will have other housekeeping information to transfer before we close the meeting. So thank you very much to all again, and see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
So Balsan, anything else? Or
Общее фото.
photo? Let's take a photo, ladies and gentlemen.
Прошу всех включить камеры. Okay, good. Good. 1, 2, 3. Wait a second. And okay. Ага. Так, кто еще не включил камеру, у вас еще 1 секунда, 2 секунды, и есть. Спасибо всем.
Thank you, Jerry. Thank you, participants. You've been great. Thanks a lot. See you tomorrow.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.